right, listen, I'm super excited. We're gonna hop right in because I wanna be respectful of your time. We are going to be talking about, as you can already see, creating an employee experience that works, okay? That's so important. Why? Why is employee experience so important? I'm gonna tell you. But I have a spicy saying. I tend to be a little spicy, okay? And so I have this saying that without an EX strategy, without an employee experience strategy, your CX strategy is trash, okay? Now don't boot me off the stage yet. Calm down, simmer down, okay? Simmer down, okay? But it's so true because so many times we as organizations and workforce management leaders, CX leaders, employee experience leaders, we're focusing on creating a better customer experience because we know that that drives the dollars, right? The sustainability of the organization. But if we don't focus on creating an employee experience, who's serving those customers? The employees, right? And so I always say that employee is never going to treat a customer better than they're being treated. And so I get some flack about that sometimes. People are like, that's not necessarily true, right? Even if I do all that I can, that's not necessarily true that if, you know, we do everything right from an employee experience perspective that we're gonna have a great customer experience. But one thing I can bet you for sure, you're gonna have a better customer experience. Why? Because those employees are going to be equipped, they're gonna be empowered, and they're going to be engaged, okay? And so, as you can tell, I am super excited to be talking to you all. My name is Juanita Coley. I am the CEO and founder of Solid Rock Consulting. I'm affectionately known as the contact center whisperer, okay? I'm known as the contact center whisperer because I started my journey, we're gonna stop at 20 years, okay? I started, because that's my business, okay? Anything other than y'all getting too personal, okay? So I started off in the contact center as a teen mom on the phone. I picked up a book called Blue Pumpkin, and I started learning all that I could about the discipline of workforce management and how to work the tool and all the different things. And I fell in love with the discipline of workforce management. You're like, why? Out of all the things, like, really? That's the thing that you fell in love with? Well, I fell in love with how businesses, you were able to predict, you know, the volume and interactions. I fell in love with how you could help customers. I fell in love with how you could really empower employees. And so I went on to run workforce management teams in organizations like your United Healthcare, your Walgreens, your Liberty Medicals, and went on to do a lot of different things. I recently, we're in 2024, ran for Miss Corporate America and won Miss Corporate America. My platform was women in technology and leadership roles around workforce management. While it may not look like it, if you follow me on social media, I am an introvert through and through, okay? So what does that mean? That means I need y'all energy, okay? Because I ain't got none, okay? I need y'all energy, all right? And so we're gonna hop right in. What are we gonna be talking about today? We're gonna be talking about why employee experience is important. We're gonna be talking about what is employee experience, okay? Why workforce management people gotta have a seat at the table, okay? It's not good enough for us to just do our thing, right? It's so important that we understand and we get a seat at the table. We're gonna be talking about keys to building an employee experience and how you contribute to that as a workforce management leader. We're also going to be talking about the role that you play. We're gonna be putting it together, okay? So what I want you to do really quickly, okay? Because I know y'all gonna be on y'all phone. So don't even act like y'all ain't gonna be on, see, I know. So go ahead and use your phone, scan the QR code, okay? Scan this QR code and tell me where you traveled in from. All right, Jersey in the house. Tampa in the house. All right, I live near Tampa. I'm a Florida girl. Woo! Atlanta in the house. Big Atlanta in the house. Michigan is next. Okay. ATL. All right. Buffalo, Portland. Let's see what we got. Texas, baby. All right. Iowa, Portugal. All right. Cincinnati, Spokane, Detroit. All right, y'all in the house. Y'all is in Vancouver, Odessa, Texas. My mom's name is Odessa. Shout out to my mom. Madagascar is in the house. All right. This is super cool. Y'all came near and far to be right here, and y'all came in my session. Somebody bring me some tissues. I'm gonna try not to act up too much. I love to have fun, okay? I love to have fun. I love to make sure that we make impact. It's so important that we not only just do the thing. So many times we can get caught up with just doing the thing, right? I gotta go to this work conference. I gotta create the forecast. I gotta create the schedule. But what is the purpose? So many times we miss the purpose of what we're doing and the impact of what we're doing. And I can guarantee you, if you're doing your job and you're doing it well, you're making significant impact. And I want to reveal to you even more so the impact that you make, okay? So in your own words, just give me a couple words of when you hear employee experience, what do you think of? When you hear EX, not your ex, not the one who you're still trying to get over. Not her, not him, okay? not your ex. But when you hear employee experience, what do you think of? What are some words that you think of? Collaboration, morale, focus on the people, autonomy, engaged team, engagement, engaged and thriving. Ooh, I love thriving. Morale, functionality, satisfaction, work-life balance. Okay, feelings. Feelings, oh no. Okay, collaboration, happy feet, belonging. I love these, I absolutely love these. So it looks like, so if you've never seen Slido, so what I'm using is called Slido, okay? And if you've never seen this, the more people that put that in, the bigger it is. This is how the word cloud works. So the majority of you, okay, of the ones that participated, it looks like 38 of you participated. It looks like empowerment, engagement, satisfaction, feelings, morale. Those are the ones that are really standing out and resonating with the room. So let's talk about it. What is employee experience, okay? So Julian over at Great Place to Work, she has a saying or definition for it, which is basically the cumulative total of interactions that an employee has with an organization. Very similar to how we feel about customer experience. What are all of the, hey Shafiq, I see you out there. All right, sorry, you know, I get you, all right. Anyway, and so very similar to how we think about customer experience. It's all of the interactions that an individual customer has with the organization. So many times we silo customer experience to just the contact center. When the customer has had interactions prior to ever calling in to the contact center. They maybe have walked into your store. They may have visited the website. They have so many interactions. And many times the contact center or the call center is where we start to look at, oh, we have a bad customer experience or a great customer experience. And so very similar, while that is a problem, okay? So if that's how you're measuring customer experience, just put a pin in that. I'm not gonna talk about you too bad. But if just like that is a problem, it's very similar to the problem when we think about employee experience. When we think about employee experience just being how we onboard employees or it's relegated to only HR, that's a problem. Because an employee has so many other interactions with the organization than just human resources. Okay? It's all of their engagement, all of their interactions. And so I love this, how Julian has defined this from Great Place to Work. I love how Bill says, how your employees' hearts and stomachs feel on Sunday night, right, about Monday morning. Of course, I'm paraphrasing, okay? How your employees' hearts and stomachs feel about Monday morning, Sunday night. So on Sunday night, they were like, man, they start getting asthma attacks, anxiety, breathing hard, you know, making up fake diseases. They done killed off a third grandma, fourth mom. Like, my God, today, how many, I remember I was working in workforce management at a company that shall remain nameless. This one employee hadn't killed off, they had to have probably at least 5 mothers. I was like, well, geez, how many? Okay, that's deep. Talk about extended family, And so when we think about how employees are feeling about Monday morning on Sunday night, that is the culture, that is the heart. And we can, as WFM leaders, impact that very tactically as well as strategically as well. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So what does EX impact? Why is this so important? Why is it so important? Give me some things that you think employee experience impacts in your organization and from your experience. And then I'm going to get you to moving. So I hope y'all warmed up, okay? I'm going to get you to moving. It impacts performance, okay? Retention, productivity, attrition, for sure, okay? Reputation, loyalty, client, bottom line, client experience, absolutely. Quality, reliability. I love this one. Somebody type this one in again so it can get bigger on the screen. Everything. Who put that? That's good. I like that. I love that. I love that. Everything. It impacts everything. It most certainly does. Absolutely. Member experience, customer, company reputation, attitude. I love it. CX. It most certainly does. Mental health. Yes. Yes, absolutely. All right. Now I want you to do me a favor. Y'all gonna do me a favor? Y'all can talk back to me. Come on, talk back to me. Talk back to me. Talk back to me. Talk back to me. You gotta talk back to me. Y'all gonna do me a favor? Yes. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. So if you are a WFM or if you're in the workforce management department, stand up. All right. All right. I see my wow. I call wow, wonders of workforce. Okay, that's what y'all call. All right. All right. If you are in CX, y'all stay standing, stay standing, stay standing, stay standing. If you are a CX leader, stand up for me. Customer experience leader, or somewhere in the realm, okay, of customer experience. All right. Don't get up slow. Y'all got to pop up like popcorn now. Y'all getting up like y'all just had breakfast. It's almost, I'm just messing with you. Okay. All right. All right. If you are an EX leader, you are in charge of employee experience, you are in HR, you're in one of those types of roles, stand up for me. All right. And if you are IT leader, somewhere in IT, stand up for me. All right, got some IT folks in the room. All right, all right. Everybody else stand up for me. All right. All right, all right, all right. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so now I want you to turn to your neighbor. I was trying to do a good sermon voice, sorry. Turn to your neighbor, all right, and say, EX matters. All right, all right. Y'all have a seat, y'all have a seat. Y'all did a good job, y'all did a good job, y'all did a good job. All right. All right. That was my sermon voice, if y'all didn't. I was trying to give sermon. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. So why EX? Why employee experience? Okay. So equipped employees deliver high quality service. Okay. When they are equipped, they deliver better service. All right, we're going to talk about these. When they are empowered, all right, empowered employees create more personalized and proactive customer interactions. Okay? And lastly, engaged employees drive customer loyalty and advocacy. Okay? So if we had to think about, when I think about employee experience, I try to bucket, everything I do, I normally try to classify it in some kind of way for easy remembrance and learning, right? But when we think about employee experience, I bucket it into 3 categories, okay? So you wanna jot this down. Make sure y'all quote me, okay? Don't be, you can quote me one time and then it's yours to have, because I do the same thing. If I hear something good, baby, it's mine after the second time, okay? I'm gonna quote you the first time and then it's mine. All right, and so equipped employees deliver quality service, which is your first bucket. So the first bucket we're gonna be talking about here on creating employee experience is equipping. It is so important that we equip employees. The second bucket is empowerment. Many times we use these 2 words interchangeably. Equipping and empowering are not the same thing, and we're gonna talk about the difference momentarily, okay? So your second bucket is empower. Say empower. Empower. Last is engaged. It's not good enough for us to just equip. It's not good enough for us to just empower, but we must engage our employees. The output of us focusing on the right inputs, okay? Used to have an old boss used to say trash in equals trash out. They were referring to forecasting, of course, right? Well, not of course, you didn't know that, but they were referring to forecasting. However, I find that to be true through and through for life, just in general. Trying to lose 50 pounds, input equal output. You can't be talking about you trying to lose 50 pounds and you still sneaking over there to that Chick-fil-A fry line, huh? Okay, just that's trash in equals trash out. It's not gonna get the right results, okay? And so that's true of pretty much anything. If you want great outputs, many times we focus so heavily on the output. It is great to have goals and metrics and understand what the output in the ideal scenario should be. But what we really need to be focusing on is the inputs. If we focus on the right inputs, then as a byproduct, you'll get the right outputs, okay? So let's talk about WFM having a seat at the table before we hop into these 3, okay? So WFM teams must have a seat at the EX table, right? How many of your organizations have an actual employee experience leader or someone that focuses on employee experience? Don't be shy, just, all right, cool. So how many keep your hand raised of those that have the EX leaders. How many of your EX leaders know who you are? Good, right? They should know who you are. I used to say, you can put your hands down. I used to say this all the time. Workforce management should be in everybody's business. Huh? When I was at United Health, you know, it's a little trend on TikTok. We're like, oh, they hate to see you coming. Yes. Huh? I was in IT business. I was in HR business. It was like, ma'am, don't you work in WFM? Yes. And I need to understand why my phone lines are still down, because this is impacting my call volume for today. Workforce management should have a seat at the table, and they should be in IT's business. It should be in HR's business. You should be in employee experience leaders' business, okay? Meaning they should know who you are and you should know who they are. Because workforce management is this catalyst. It is the core of what really brings together and drives home customer experience, employee experience, and business profitability. Say that with me. Customer experience, employee experience, and business profitability. I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna give y'all time to process it. Workforce management is the core, okay, of customer experience, employee experience, and business profitability. Okay? When you truly understand how workforce management impacts the customer experience, the employee experience, and business profitability, it's really nothing you can't get done in your organization. I always tied it back to, oh, this is how this is going to impact our customer experience. This is how this scheduler, this is how this forecaster, this is how these KPIs are going to impact X, Y, and Z. And so if you focus on those 3 buckets, as a workforce management leader, you typically can be in anybody's business. The IT leader's business, Understanding, hey, what's going on? How do we decrease the ticket time? How do we get our phone lines back up, or whatever the issue is, okay? And so WFM teams are critical to be at the table because you're driving data insights that enhance the employee experience and initiatives. Hey, we want to do X, Y, and Z. Okay, what's the data on that? What metric can I give to you, EX leader or HR leader or IT leader, that says, okay, this is what's going to drive that? I know it sounds good because, we be having the sound good factory in operations, right? Everything sound good until it's actually time to execute on it. Then it'll be like, well, who made the potato salad? Who thought that was a good idea, right? And so it's so important. What I'm saying here and articulating to you is that workforce management is going to have the data insights to help execute on these different EX initiatives, okay? WFM teams are going to help align workforce capabilities with business and EX goals. So your organization, what do you mean, Juanita? Your organization says, hey, we really want to implement an FCR, first call resolution metric. You're going to say, well, how do we define first call resolution? Or first contact resolution if you're in a multi-channel environment? How do we define that? Do I have the data to be able to measure that? So I'm all fine for creating these metrics, but do we have the actual data to be able to, one, have we defined it? And then do we have the data to be able to actually measure it? Because you cannot manage what you don't measure. You can't manage what you don't measure. And so if you're trying to manage first contact resolution, if you're trying to manage service level, if you're trying to manage a customer experience, you first have to define what is the customer experience, and you should know that. You are not just, gone are the days of workforce management where you are just, and I say this like this, right? You are just creating a forecast and you're just creating some schedules, right? And you're just looking at the queue and seeing who's on the call, who's not on the call, who's been on a long call. The technology can do that now. When we think about the future of work and the future of AI, our technologies are starting to do predictive forecasting, right? It's starting to create very creative schedules for us. It's starting to alert supervisors when someone's been on a call too long. And so workforce management, which is why I think it's so important that you really understand the impact that you make, and organizations understand the impact that you make, because when an organization says, hey, I need to do this, your mind needs to immediately go to, do we have the data for that? Is this aligned to the workforce capability that of business profitability, the CX goal that you're trying to drive, the EX goal? It's not just, can I create the forecast, the schedule, and intraday? We know that, right? You could do that in your sleep likely, okay? But it's how do they tie? Your job is to align it together. So many times workforce management teams get these goals and these initiatives and they just get told, hey, create these schedules. It's like, well, that ain't the right schedule that we really should have. But don't nobody say nothing. Right? Why do we do that? If you know those aren't the right schedules we should have, because you are the expert in looking at the hours of operations, you know Sally call out every Wednesday at 4 o'clock. You already know she ain't gonna be here. Why are we still creating that schedule and giving it to Sally? Why? Why are we doing that to ourselves, right? Workforce management has that data to say, hey, business, how about we create these types of shifts, because based on our hours of operations, our hoops, right? Based on when our volume flows in, these are the types of shifts. This is what the cost would be for these shifts, and this will get us better alignment from a CX perspective. We should see our hold time go down. We should see our wait time go down. We should see that we get a better adherence to schedule if we shift to this. That's why you are so important to this conversation. You're not just high-paid admins, okay? You're not just putting some forecasts together and doing some schedules. And no, that's not who you are. You are impacting the customer experience. You're impacting the employee experience. You are impacting a human experience. So we talk a lot about CX and EX, and I said what we really should be talking about is HX, human experience, because that's what you're impacting. It's more than the forecast. It's more than the schedule. Those are components, and that's how you tactically do what you do. But what you're really driving is a human experience. And the more you tap into that and align that to the business goals and operations and set those expectations, the more you'll get a seat at the table, okay? I just talked about this a little bit. Workforce management teams strategically close the gap between customer experience and business profitability. Stop letting these companies, sorry, I giggle. Stop letting these organizations say, hey, create these shifts. And you're like, oh yeah, let me create these shifts. And you know, daggone well, we leaking money. You know we leaking money. You should be saying, hey, I'll do whatever you want me to do, right? You're the customer. However, ever, okay? This is what it's costing you. You should be saying that because you're going to close that gap, right? And now you're going beyond the scope, again, of the tactical nature of workforce management. The tactical nature of workforce management is what? You already likely know this. The core, I call it the core four. Gathering data, so data analytics, forecasting, scheduling, and intraday. That's the tactical, okay? The core four. If you're in workforce management, regardless of the role, whether you're a forecaster, scheduler, a business analyst, RTA, you're doing one of those things, okay? Well, that's the tactical piece. That's the piece that tooling can help you scale at so that you can do the more trusted business advisor, because that's who you are. You're a business advisor to the organization. You're helping the organization close the gaps between their CX strategy and goals and business profitability, because we still want to be profitable. Because if we're not just here, no company has ever, unless your company has, let me know, okay? But no company has ever said, oh, you know, let me just open up this rec. Let me just hire some people because we just got money to give away. Right? No, companies don't do that, not even nonprofits, right? If we hire a role, we're expecting to get ROI on that role. And so your role as a business advisor to the organization is to be able to close that gap between CX and business profitability. So what are some keys to EX, okay? What are some keys to EX? When you hear EX and you think about, okay, how am I going to implement this? What am I going to take back from C3, okay? Because I'm not just up here talking because I ain't got nothing else to do, all right? I want you to really take back something tangible, okay? When you think about keys to EX, if you were having to stand up in the organizations that don't have an EX strategy, how would you stand that up? And how would you, as a workforce management leader, be involved in that? Okay? WFM involvement, know your employees, flexibility. Flexibility is key. Analytics, focus groups. Focus groups, data, human touch, trust, empower, engagement. I already kind of gave y'all, I gave you the answer already. I just kind of flew by it, so you know I gave you the answer. I like to kind of do that. So by the time you hear it again, you'll be like, oh, that's where she was going with that. All right. All right. Value creation, equipped. All right. Solutions, clear goals. Yes, come on, clear goals. We love... I know when we creating these job recs, we love to put other duties as assigned. Creating all this ambiguity. All right, I love it, I love it, I love it. All right, so some keys to EX. All right, so this is my E3 formula, okay? Say E3 formula. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Y'all act like we've been in here for 30 minutes, okay? 30 minutes, okay. I was gonna say, now y'all know better than that. I had to give y'all the mama look, okay? All right, so first is equipping. So equipping is equal to skilling, okay? So we talked about this earlier. Equipping, all right? So what do you mean equipping and skilling? It's so important that our employees are skilled. Why? Because we are forecasting, usually at skill levels, and we got people taking calls, transferring calls to another department, messing up my stats, huh? So if they're gonna have the skill, make sure that they know what they're talking about, right? They've been equipped. It sounds, I know I'm being facetious, and it sounds like, well, duh. But so many times we have skills on employees that they're like, I don't, because we need coverage, huh? Tell me I'm lying, huh? We need coverage. We just need a body and a seat. But no, what does that do? That creates a transfer and a poor customer experience. Because now I just had to tell you what I told them, and they got it wrong. You ever played telephone? I'm dating myself, I know. And as soon as I said it, I was like, ugh, I tried to take it back in. Telephone is when you say something, you pass it down the line, and by the time you get to the end, it's a completely different story. I ain't even gonna say the brand. I was on the phone, and I'm like, that's not what I asked for at all. How did my seat get changed, you know? And so it's so important that when that interaction comes in, whether it's on chat, phone, email, carrier pigeon, I don't care how it gets to the agent, right? That agent that gets that contact is equipped, they're skilled with the information that they need, right? And that may look like knowledge bases, that may look like just-in-time agent assist. There's so many different things that you can do to ensure, right, even if that's not your direct department, to be making sure and bringing to the table, hey, I know we have this new hire class that's going to be coming in. What's the initial skill profile of this? Okay, I know we got 30 skills, but is the first skill profile going to be 3 of those 30? Right? And then what is the training plan to make sure that they get up to the 30? Or is that a part of the plan? Right? That's how your conversation should be happening with HR, even if you're not the person who's, you're not doing the training. I'm not expecting you to do the new hire training in the 8-week, however long the onboarding training is. But you should be knowing what's happening in that training room. You definitely should, okay? So empower is equal to authority. So many times we're talking about equipping and empowering as if they are the same thing. They are not, okay? What's the difference between a mall cop and a police officer? Y'all shout it out. Authority, right? Weapon. One got mace and one got a gun. Huh? It's authority, right? And so I can be equipped and not have the authority to use that equipping, okay? And so many times you have an employee that knows the information. They've been here 30 years. I would hope that they do know, but they're like, that's above me now. I can't help you. I got to transfer you to another department. They're not empowered to act on what they know, okay? And so this is where you get specialized teams. This is where you can really get really creative with skill profiles and different things like this, is because, okay, and this is why it's so important that you work with your operations to say, okay, are we allowing employees to actually act on what they know? Do they have to constantly open a ticket? Do they have to constantly, and this is the data that you are going to have. Right? You could be working with IT. You could be working with your operations lead. Why we got 45 tickets that's still open that ain't got solved that's requiring a callback? I mean, they know the information. Why somebody else got to call them back? Couldn't they have handled that on the first call, which would have reduced what? handle time, first contact resolution, right? And so making sure that our employees are empowered, they have the autonomy to be able to respond to the customer in real time is so important, okay? And then engage, okay? Now, I hate to bust y'all bubble, okay? And please don't kick me off this stage, okay? Because these shoes already hurt. But engagement is not a pizza party, okay? They don't want y'all pizza parties, okay? Matter of fact, half of them probably lactose intolerant, okay? They don't want the pizza party, okay? So what is engagement, okay? What is true engagement? Engagement is when, and these are examples that are here, right? But engagement is when you are soliciting feedback from your employees, right? And you know what they want. Engagement is them engaging with the business and engaging with you. It's having dashboards, it's having metrics, it's clearly identifying them what success looks like. That is engagement. If I don't know what success looks like and you keep moving the ball, then what do? I get disheartened, disenchanted, and I'm on Indeed. That's what I'm on. I'm on LinkedIn looking for somebody else, looking for somewhere else that can make up their mind on what success look like, right? And so engagement is about feedback, getting feedback both ways. Not only you giving feedback, right? Coaching and having quality scores and having quality metrics and all of those good things. You're giving feedback, but are you receiving feedback? Are you closing the feedback loop? So you're doing quality, you're doing all of these different things, but are you closing the feedback loop? You're just out there just talking. That's not what communication is. That's not what true communication is. Communication is sending a signal and receiving a signal. That's communication. And so if you sent a signal out, oh, your quality scores are this, SLA is this, average handle time is this is this, and ain't nobody receiving no signal. They don't even know what you're talking about, right? Are they responding back to you? That's important. Well, yeah, the quality, I got my best feedback. Oh my God, the best programs that I've made and come up with, best metrics that I've come up with have not been from what I sent out, but it was from what I got back. Oh, we got to outdo them. They showing out over there. They showing out, right? So it's always been from what I got back, right? Oh, this is why my average handle time is this. This is the type of call that's coming in because we think we know, because we're creating a forecast and our spreadsheet tell us that average handle time should be, right? The call gonna come in or the schedule we think we know. Because we're looking at the numbers. And in some realm or another, we do. But it's not until you start getting that feedback and giving context and color to those numbers that you actually make it applicable and real for your organization. Don't even get me started on people who are talking about industry best practice. Right? Like, we ain't talking about industry. We're talking about this organization. And how our customers engage with us, how our employees engage here, and what our goals are and where we're trying to drive to, okay? So metrics that matter. What are some metrics that matter when we're thinking about equipping? We're thinking about, okay, I want to know if my employees are truly equipped, right? If they get it, an easy metric. These are not going to be metrics that you're like, oh, I didn't know, right? So I want to preference that. You're not going to be like, oh, I didn't know. But what I want you to do is connect the dots. Because many times workforce management ain't looking at the quality scores. They're like, that ain't my business. Huh? That's not my business. My job is to create these schedules and make sure people are on the phone. But I highly suggest, like my grandmother used to say, I highly recommend Right? That means that you need to do what she just said, okay? All right? It wasn't actual recommendation at all, right? So I highly recommend that if you're in workforce, if you're a CX leader, if you're an EX leader, you should be looking at quality scores, okay? You should be looking at the standard deviation of your quality scores, okay? Meaning, how much do your quality scores deviate from one quality person to the next? You got 5 people on your quality team. Do you have a high deviation between their scores? Why? Why does that matter? The reason that that matters is because if there's a high deviation, then it's likely not the agent who got the problem. Huh? It's likely not the agent. It's likely the clarity around your goals and around what quality means at the organization. If I got 5 people who do quality and I got 5 drastically different scores on this same person, I ain't judging. I'm just saying this is no judgment zone, okay? But you should be looking at quality, okay? That's how one of the metrics that you can look at to say, are my people equipped? And if you notice that, okay, our quality dips or we have a high deviation, again, yes, you're in workforce management, but we're talking about workforce having a seat at the EX and CX table, right, and really driving home these things. You should be talking to quality and the training team about, hey, what can we do around this? Can I schedule some classes? Can I create some buckets of areas of opportunity where I can schedule some just-in-time training, some, lunch and learns is what we call them, right? What can we do to get these quality scores up? Because this ain't it, okay? Empowerment, right? Are people able to are customers able to get their issues resolved? Okay, and I'm wrapping up here. You can measure that and look at that from FCR, first contact resolution, and then engagement. Again, sending out employee feedback, getting employee feedback and finding out what the rate of that employee feedback. You're an organization of 1,600, huh? And 2 people turned in a survey. I'm just saying, they probably not engaged, okay? So we're not even talking about the feedback, we're talking about the rate of feedback, okay? So you have a role to play in equipping. Practical tip, I talked about this on the other slide, so I'm just gonna kind of go through this really quickly. The practical tip of creating an equipped staff, right, is looking at quality. Making sure that your people are skilled, they have the skill set that they need, having a skilling strategy. Workforce management should be involved in the skilling strategy. I know IT and routing teams be like, Juanita, mind your business. But this is what I mean by when I was saying I was always in people business. Right, at United Healthcare, our routing team was separate from our workforce management team. And I was always at their desk like, we need to update the routing because this ain't happening, this ain't working, right? And so you could be having those conversations as well. Why? Because this drives down and reduces average handle time and enhances service, okay? It also helps you bridge the gap between any knowledge gaps that's going to be happening. When we're talking about empowerment, okay, you need to first work with senior leadership to identify what constitutes resolution. That's key. If you don't get anything else out of this particular one, make sure you first understand what constitutes resolution. Because just because they called back does not mean that they didn't get their issue resolved. I'm notorious